Billionaire Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, has warned that the recession will be greatly amplified if the Federal Reserve raises interest rates again next week. He added that things will probably start looking better in the second quarter of 2024. However, before we begin our countdown, we would greatly appreciate it if you would subscribe to our YouTube channel and also press the bell icon. Let's get started. Tesla CEO Elon Musk on recession and Fed's rate hikes. Tesla CEO and Twitter chief Elon Musk have reiterated his warning about a recession in the U.S. He tweeted Friday that if the Federal Reserve raises interest rates again next week, the recession will be greatly amplified. Musk was further asked on Twitter how long he thinks the recession will last. The Tesla boss replied, "Just a rough guess, but things probably start looking better in Q2 2024. This was not the first time Musk warned about the consequences of the Fed hiking interest rates. At the end of November, the billionaire said the trend was concerning. He urged the Federal Reserve to cut interest rates immediately, stating that the U.S. central bank is massively amplifying the probability of a severe recession. Recessions are not necessarily a bad thing, he said at the conference. I've been through a few of them. And what tends to happen is if you have a boom that goes on too long, you get a misallocation of capital. It starts raining money on fools, basically." He went on to say that when this situation gets out of control, the economy has a misallocation of human capital, where people are doing things that are silly and not useful to their fellow human beings. The obvious reason for inflation is the government printed a zillion amount of more money than it had, he argued. The government can't just issue checks for an excessive revenue without there being inflation. The velocity of money held constant. This is not, like, super complicated, he added. He also agreed with ARK Invest CEO Cathie Wood that the Fed's actions could lead to a 1929-like Great Depression. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell has signaled a 50 basis point rate hike in December following 4 consecutive 75 basis point hikes. It makes sense to moderate the pace of our rate increases as we approach the level of restraint that will be sufficient to bring inflation down, Powell said. Fed officials will announce their decision on Wednesday after a 2-day Federal Open Market Committee meeting. According to Gold Bud Peter Schiff, the risk is not the Fed causing a recession by unnecessarily tightening too much, as it thinks a strong economy will prevent inflation from falling. He explained in a tweet last week, "The risk is the current recession gets worse, causing the Fed to pivot too soon, as it mistakenly believes inflation will decline." Musk joked that an economic enema would eventually need to clear out the pipes, and sort of the bullshit companies go bankrupt, and the ones that are doing useful products are prosperous, he said. And there's certainly a lesson here that if one is making a useful product and has a company that makes sense, make sure you're not running things too close to the edge from a capital standpoint, he continued. They've got some capital reserves to last through irrational times. Musk appeared to blame the recession on President Joe Biden and his administration. "This administration, it doesn't seem to get a lot done," Musk said. The Trump administration, leaving Trump aside, there were a lot of people in the administration who were effective at getting things done. He went on to blame inflation in the U.S. on White House policies. The obvious reason for inflation is the government printed a zillion amount of more money than it had, he argued. The government can't just issue checks for an excessive revenue without there being inflation. The velocity of money held constant. This is not, like, super complicated. The billionaire has been critical of the Biden administration in the past. Earlier this year, Musk called Biden a damp sock puppet in human form. He has continually criticized the administration after the White House failed to invite Tesla to an electric vehicle summit and praised General Motors and Ford over Tesla. Some people are expecting a mild recession in 2023, including analysts at Citigroup. The impending recession won't be that deep, but it will be meaningful, said David Balin, Chief Investment Officer and head of Citi Global Wealth Investments. Some, however, expect a severe recession, including veteran investor Jim Rogers. So that's it for today. If you find this video helpful, please give it a big thumbs up and share it with others. Also, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our channel. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our new uploads. In the end, thanks for watching, and see you next time.